Welcome back to the Selling Sanctuary, where feminine power meets $1 million psychology. I'm your host, Mika. And in this episode, we are going to discuss how masculine tendencies in sales and business it wreaks havoc on our nervous system. Now, when there is too much masculine energy anywhere, we're going to see a strong push in productivity. Everything is going to be focused on that, and there's going to be very little, if any, emphasis on the importance of rest. And we've been talking about this in the last 4 episodes, the trauma responses in sales and how it looks when we're trying to sell with a dysregulated nervous system. But I want you to understand the foundation that's causing the dysregulation. Now, we touched on different trauma responses, and I believe maybe in the next video, I'm going to talk about your childhood trauma and the importance of reparenting yourself for those who need that. And I have a guide that I've created to really help you hone in on your traumas, on the way that they are showing up in your sales success, your business, if you run a business. It can even be in your relationships. We can't tend to turn it off only on one section. So I'm going to talk about that in the next episode, but I want you to really think about your childhood for just a few minutes. And I want you to really ask yourself, and the journal prompts we'll use for this one, the first one is going to be, did I experience a childhood that required me to do, quote unquote, like to be productive, to do things, to provide service for other people in access? That would be overgiving, overworking in order to receive love and affection. If that is how your nervous system has been regulated since you were the age of 7 and 8, that is when you helped your mom bring the groceries in, that she was like, oh, thank you, and gave you a hug. But it wasn't just that, like, hugs were just free-for-alls and always accessible. If you had caregivers who are emotionally unavailable, and the only time that they were available for any type of emotional connection was when you might have been cleaning out their bedroom or their closet for them, or doing something for them where they were getting a lot in exchange to what you were doing. And if that's the case, you're typically, I would say, wired to be overproductive. And overworking is a sign of like dysregulation in your nervous system. It's counterproductive to actually being attractive to the energy of money. There's a book, I can't think of the name right now. I'm going to find it and put it in the description. They talked about having a 4-hour work week. I know I've seen that on like some posts, and I actually started implementing that in probably 7 months ago, and it's been a change. I know they quoted from a book, but when they said that and they gave like a schedule in their picture, like, you know, on some social media, I think it was TikTok, I thought it was so, to me, just transformational. And I was like, wait, I'm gonna do this, and it really works for me. So maybe that's something you want to try, especially if you have ADHD and you tend to get distracted. It can be very beneficial to do breaks. So schedule out 4 hours and then do breaks in between. So like you can hyperfixate and then take breaks and go back and forth. The brain is really productive only for a certain period of time anyway, before it kind of just like, you know, falls off. So giving your body the ability to work and then rest, and then maybe like pick up light work in the evening or do something fun. Like I think they mentioned doing like a hobby after your work day is key to that balance. And I would also say that if you are doing content creation, it's a good idea on the days that you have a lot of energy and you feel really good. You're not overworking in the sense of you don't want to do it, but you're doing it. But it's like, just like one of those days where you're just like, yes, everything's flowing. That's your content. Create all the videos you can in that day and then schedule them out. It is really, really important for us to realize that productivity doesn't guarantee profit. Alignment does. And many times we could create so many different things, and we have, like, especially if you're in sales, and like entrepreneurship, you can have all these offers that you go out and you push it out, and you're like, I've been busy, I've been doing all these things, but then you have very low sales. This is also the same for if you're a content creator and you're getting commission and you're creating like shoppable content. You could be like, man, I put so much work into editing and all these things, and I haven't made any sales off of this, or I've made 3 sales, but the commission wasn't worth the time that you put in. It is essential for you to balance. And if you're doing, I would say, like some type of like TikTok shop thing and you're working a full-time job, it is essential that you rest and you work this into your schedule, because you do not want to go from your 9 to 5 or 12-hour shift if you're, in the medical field, to bringing that tired, wore down energy into like, okay, now I got to go home and make a video, and it might take me an hour to, edit 3 or 4 videos. And because you're coming with that, like, I'm exhausted energy, and they can feel it, and it's repulsive. So it's so, so, so important for us to just really be like, okay, if I don't feel like up to doing it today, I'm going to rest, and I'm going to look at this tomorrow. I'm going to visit this tomorrow. You have to give yourself grace. I know there's a lot of videos that are counterproductive to your success, and they say be consistent and post 3 to 5 videos a day and blah 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 blah, and this is the way you go viral, and this is the way that you grow. And that is strategy. And as we said, right, strategies don't always work, especially when you have a dysregulated nervous system, which is why I'm so adamant on, hey, your nervous system regulation is your sales strategy. When you have regulated your nervous system, but then you've learned the beginning, the foundation, right, of sales, you are actually going to monetize so much faster than you creating 1,000 videos with a dysregulated nervous system that's giving off the energy of, I don't even really want to do this. And another thing is that when you feel the inspiration to do a video, remember, especially if you're doing like TikTok videos, it doesn't have to be long. Really, like 10, 30 seconds is really the max, watch time. Remember that, because you tend to overwork, overshare, and over explain. So when you overgive and you're giving way too much of your energy, and I would say that especially if you're doing like that TikTok live and you're on live for 3 hours, it is for pennies, really, a day. And 3 hours of you actually implementing in your attention span, you could create a journal that will create passive income. You can create a guide, an ebook. You can create downloadable content for people in your niche. Like, there's so many things that you can do to attract money when you open up your mind to that wealth consciousness. And that is what we're getting you toward. But I need to lay the foundation of a regulated nervous system. Because if I teach you all these things and you do not implement in that nervous system regulation, your nervous system might say it's not safe to receive an extra $3,000 a month. And it doesn't matter what I say, you're not going to grasp it. So we're gonna conclude there. Remember, my guide is right on my website. It's also tagged at the very end of this video. You can click that picture and it'll take you straight to it. That is a guide, a complete guide to teach you how to regulate your nervous system. And then also give you the practical application. So until then, my friends, happy selling and sharing.